Well, it's the next day I'm back, and again, it's still about this 1933 Dodge five-window coupe. We just got started, so there's going to be a lot of these videos only because I don't want to drag them out. I want them to be somewhat entertaining if I can make it that way, and maybe informative. So I'm going to show you what I removed as far as the rest of the interior and certain things that I'll have to address. This is a relay right here, and it's for the automatic poppers. Here's the solenoid that it's attached to. There's only one wire that's going to it, so it's probably the reason why it's not working well. And I took some more of the upper, well, there was a center piece there where the radio is in, and I took that out thinking that this headliner would, start to not so much as come down, but do what it takes to separate it. And I started separating it, and it's stapled in, which I expected because there's wood that's up and through this old 33 coupe, and that was so that I can get at this cover up here. Yeah, you see two hornet's nests. This one here was attached to the back seat. After I took the back seat out, it was right on the back side of it. And this one here, I forgot where we found. Oh, that could have been on the engine block or the transmission. I figured I'd save it so I could show it to the client. So moving along, discovering that this piece here, I guess the shell of it is actually riveted in. Might be hard to tell, but it's up in there, it's riveted in. So there'd be no need for me to go any further to remove this headliner. I will take the rusted staples out and restaple that back up in there, make it nice. And knowing that I can take off this black cap, that liner underneath is still riveted in, so I'm not taking it off. I'll just take off the black cover so I can address the crack that's right here, and there is one on the other side as well. I need to fix it, so this way it looks a lot nicer. I stripped everything out of the trunk because it needed to be, and this is the height that the trunk should open. So I'm either going to reposition the shocks and hopefully get it to go that far, or do something different, whether it's even new shocks. I'm not 100% sure, but as you can tell, everything is out of here. There's two coil packs, one there, one over here, and that's actually for the spark plugs that are attached to the exhaust tips. Back in the day they did that with the flames shooting out. I think that's pretty cool. I do need assistance in taking these handles off because it's just like a clevis pin, or it's one of them round, like almost like expanding type clips or whatever, and I can't keep this pushed in and hold the punch and use the hammer at the same time. So I'll have help later to take these two handles off, and then I'll remove this door panel. And as you can see, there's that piece there. I will put that back up, put those pieces back, and leave well enough alone when it comes to that. All this will be taped back, covered really well, because it's all nailed in there with little brass nailer. So I don't want to get into taking all that out. I do believe I'll be able to cover this really well, and that's really all that matters. So once I'm done getting what I can off, including taking the headlight bezels off, take the ram hood ornament off, and if this can be removed, which should be able to, I didn't really investigate it. Yeah, I'll be able to remove that, I think. And also separate the grill from the fiberglass housing, because this will be black. And then I got to highlight the 6 on this and the perimeter. So I got to address that a little bit. So I'm going to move along and see what I can do. Remove the master cylinder. We will be changing that. And take a lot of this other stuff down, get it out of the way. Basically just going to start stripping everything that's in the way out of the way. I will not be painting the whole frame, only the area that you'll see in the engine bay. She doesn't want to go that far with the car, and I don't blame her. But I will, once the body is off the frame and all these panels are off, I will pressure wash it, at least make it nice and clean again, and just keep moving on it. So stand by for the next shot, and we'll see what happens. Hey there, today's another day, and we're back on the 1933 Dodge Coupe. I'm going to show you something I discovered in trying to figure out the stress crack. So, after removing about 3/8 stick of body filler, as you can see, all the way through there, up and around, this is the A pillar coming up. So, this wasn't square open. I had to square it up a little bit so I can put a piece of 16 gauge steel in there. But this is where it was originally sectioned. So there was no welds there. It was all filled in with the filler. And I carefully got as much as I could out because I didn't want to keep grinding the metal. I want to make sure I have a fair amount of metal to weld to. So I'm going to be making a piece first to go in here. I already have a little cut piece, and then it's going to wrap around, bend in, and then make a bigger piece and put it in there a little at a time because I don't want too much heat to take too much away from this to have to cut more of that filler out. So I'm going to get with that and show you when it's finished. So I just figured I would show something that was done 30, 40 years ago. And Puss in Boots agrees. There she is. Yep. She goes, get with it, make it right, so I can continue to give you a tail up. Right, Puss in Boots? So, hang tight, stand by. Well, I'm back, and not only did I put new metal in there, it was like half-inch stripe from here over to here, then it got a little thinner, and then it went from thinner to a point, and then a small piece above it. So when I was done putting that in, I filled all this in with welding, and I couldn't keep going any higher because then I would have to chop all this stuff out. So I left it alone because the bad part has been fixed, and it'll be a lot less filler in here now that I filled this whole thing in with welding, and I just treated it right now, and I'm about to mix up some filler and fill that in so that this way I can keep moving on the rest of it. In the meantime, we also took out the lower part of the aluminum thick dash that was in here, and we're fitting it for the AC system right now. So once that part is in, you'll get to see it, and then we're going to drill some holes on the bottom side so you don't see them for the AC lines, and they'll go towards the engine. But that's that part for now. Just moving along and making it happen. So stand by. I'm back, and as you can see, I hope, put some light on it. There we go. We got a little light. Hopefully. Maybe not. There we go. Now we got some light. Yep. As you can see, it's filled in about 95%. And how nice and even it is with the door. Yes. This is the worst side. Other than fabricating what's going to go here for the hood, still waiting on the lock pieces for the hood, for the center of it, so I can do the fabricating part to bring that piece out like I spoke of, and then I can finish basically doing a lot of the prep for, the paint part of it. to get it ready, because there's really no any other extensive body work that has to be done that I've noticed so far. So with that being said, I'll have to pull some taillights out. I already stripped the trunk of its coverings and whatever else is in the way. Once that's done, then the body's going to come up off the frame. I'm going to pressure wash it, make sure everything's nice and clean, because I will be painting pretty much where they boxed in the frame forward, the same color as the car. And so there's still more things to prep, take out and so forth. Pretty much getting started. I think it's a lot done. Hope there's no more little hiccups. But in the event that there is, I'll handle it. So we also did some fabricating for the dash, which that piece is gone. It's the piece underneath that part there. And we fitted it for the new AC system. So that's going to get a little detail work done to it so it fits really nice and trim, and we'll be on our way. So for tonight, that's it for now, and tomorrow's another day. So until then, peace out. Alright, I'm back. It's the next day, and the A-pillar and the rocker is ready for high build primer all the way up to there and around the front of it. But as I've gone along and we're starting to clean up the crack that was down here where it mounts to the frame, the more I cleaned out, and this was all filled in, as you can see, with much thicker body filler than what's on here. And it didn't look like at any particular time that they actually, put any kind of primer or epoxy. I know that they had that back then, but it would be on there. So the rust is just pushing the filler, and the filler was thicker down here at the bottom. And this is probably 3/16 of an inch thick. I really wasn't planning on getting into this type of body work, and neither did the client. We knew that there were some spots that had to be taken care of, but this front left corner is just getting a little carried away with this silliness here, but I gotta fix it. And I know for a fact that I'm not putting this much crap back on there. I'll blend in nice, do a little touch of filler, but first clean it up like I did here around this area here. I'll do the same thing up here and put some primer on there and go from there, because I don't want to get carried away with this. We're not trying to do a showpiece out of this, and she's not looking to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on repainting this car. And I personally don't want to put this kind of time into this. I don't want to sound negative, but that was not in the plan. But certain things do need to be addressed, and this is definitely one of them. So I'm going to keep basically chiseling away because it's just popping off. I'm not like beating it. Oh, let me get up here where you can see it. See, it is coming off. So I'll find that spot where I can clean it nice, blend it in, and call it a day on that. So until then, after I get the primer on it and that mess there fixed up, I will chime back in, so stand by. I'm back, and as you can see, it is under primer. I'm going to be putting more on. I went over it like 3 times right about now, and I'm going to go over it until all the primer that I put in the spray gun is all used up. The more the merrier, and then it'll have to be sanded, once it dries. But there she is. I'm glad that much of it is done, and everything is covered that needed to be covered. But there she be. Yep. So I guess the next step is, as far as filming wise, I think I'm going to be just starting to prep, basically take 400 grit over the rest of it, And oh yeah, I got to fix the little crack that's up on the top there. That'll be next. So once this is sanded and ready to go, I'm going to attack that spot, show it, and then in the meantime move on to the rest of the car. So stand by. It's the next day. I'm back. I let that dry overnight, and it is dry. I really didn't attend to it, so I decided to come over here to the right side, which would be passenger, and I took pictures and put it on my Instagram. We'll see it tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, but there was like a bumper stop. It was a weird one, and it limits the door to close where it needed to. So I removed it. There's a screw that goes in here, and the thing sticks out there. The same thing was on that side. I took it out and filled it in. So the new plate is welded in there. Then I started attacking stuff like this because it was cracked through here. So I'm going to weld that up. And actually there's 4 holes there. I'm going to weld them up. I don't know which one's needed and not needed, but I'm going to fill them in. I addressed this already. It needed to be cleaned up. The rust was pushing through. Then I moved over here to the front. It was cracked, like around here. So I ground it, and then I also pictures you'll see on Instagram of the chunk that came out of here. It's rusted down in here, and it started to separate over through here, and that separation carried up this high. So I started grinding. I have some more to clean up in here. I'm going to take all this yellow paint off, take the bolt out, make it all fresh steel, and then prime it up. I will blend this in. It was thick here, not as bad as it was on that side, but I am going to put new metal right here. I might have to wait on this one to actually do that, so I'm going to do that, and I'll get back and show you, so stand by. Okay, I'm back, and we are on the right side, and I removed a real big piece, a real thick piece, as you can see. Pretty nasty, and I could tell why it really didn't adhere 100%, but we're talking about 30 or 40 years ago. Time takes its toll on everything. So after grinding and welding, filling it with the metal and so forth, I put the filler over there. I'm yet to sand it, and I removed some more material because it was kind of flaking up anyway, and there was rust underneath it. So clean that up. And at the same time, tomorrow, which will start another video, another segment of it, I have to get underneath the cab of this thing. And the only way to do that is to unbolt the body mounts. I will lift it up because I want to cut this out and put a piece of metal in there after I grind into this area here. And it's the reason why I'm waiting to actually finish up the side of this. I put a fiberglass type of filler, I'll show you the can, on there first as a base because it will adhere really strong. Because there's a lot there that had to be covered. It's not on thick, but it's made by Evercoat. You can see what it says, hopefully. I think you can now. And this stuff it's stringy. It's like just fiberglass. And makes it stronger so that hopefully we don't get any hairline cracks. There's no guarantee that it won't because this is a plastic or fiberglass piece, like a shell, covering over the original structure of the 33 coupe here. So however they fastened it. So I cut it here because that's where the crack pretty much ended, and cut it off because it was splitting up the side. So after removing it, obviously I ground it, as you could see, and then started the steps. So tomorrow I'm going to separate that, hopefully enough to where I can actually weld a new piece in there, and then finish doing the body work, sand that, prep it, and then prime it. And at least the hardcore stuff, I hope, will be done. And I've searched on this side because the client wanted me to know if there was any cracks over here, and I don't see any. So it looks nice and clean. I'm leaving it alone, other than, prepping it for paint and, cleaning this up. Actually, maybe removing some material so that the little set screws that are for the mirrors don't do this again, because the mirror is mounted right there. So I'm going to try to hopefully not allow that to happen again. And obviously, as I'm up here, so I don't forget, this ran at one point in time, so there's a nice long run in it, and I'll flatten that out. I don't want to forget it. I doubt that I will, but when I see this, I'll see that. So that's pretty much going to end this video, this segment, the video on this Dodge 1933 coupe 5-window. I want to keep them short. I put one out Sunday. Tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow morning, which I'll be doing this, posting it, so that I can keep moving, show segments along the way on things being repaired, and the progress of this thing moving along. And it is also posted on my Instagram page, which is Radical Curves 157. Instagram, Radical Curves 157. That's actually the name of my business for this type of work. But never to who. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I might pick some information up on it. And until it's actually done, you really get to see it have a pretty good transformation from one degree to another. Enjoy, and until then, try to get something done. Thanks for watching.